Hi everyone, I'm BioInformatter, and now I'm going to show you the hits from my second play booster box for Magic the Gathering Duskmourn House of Horror. Chainsaw, Cursed Recording, and Cursed Recording again. Ghost Vacuum. This one seems like it would be fun to pull off. Exile a target card from a graveyard, and you can pay 6 and sacrifice it. And you get all of those creatures back as 1/1 spirits in addition. So that's like, could be a fun explosive move to pull off, but it's a little expensive. Head Shredder. This one, a lot of people are going to want to give a try. It's probably going to be pretty busted. Whenever it attacks, you may mill 2 cards, and whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put them onto the battlefield tapped. Crew 1. So there's a lot of synergistic cards out in the ether that can be put together with this to make it pretty busted, I think, but it could be fun for a game or two. Here's the foil version of that, and the non-foil version. Uh, Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. Uh, Unidentified Hovership. Um, so when it enters, exile up to 1 target creature with toughness 5 or less, and when it leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner manifests dread. Crew 1. There's the plain version of it. So we have the enduring card, so they're enchantment creatures. So essentially, they kind of give you some fun ability, and then if they die, they come back as just an enchantment and not a creature. So that's the enduring part. So for curiosity, you get its flash, and whatever creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Um, so you can kind of get card draw for a while. Here's the Innocence. So whenever one or more creatures you control with a power 2 or less enter, draw a card, only once each turn. Um, the Tenacity one, Enduring Tenacity. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And when it dies, yeah, it's ta-da-ta-da. Vitality, Vigilance, and creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. So this is something I will definitely use in many decks, probably. Um, Hauntwood Shrieker. So yes, I'm a green player, so I kind of focus on the green containing guards. So whenever Hauntwood's Shrieker attacks, manifest Dread. And you can pay 1 in a green and reveal the target face down permanent. And if it's a creature card, you may turn it face up. So yeah, I have yet to try any of the face down strategies, but they're interesting to me, so I get around to them eventually. Kona Rescue Beastie. Um, so survival at the beginning of your second main phase, Kona Rescue Beastie. If it's tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So yes, that's definitely a green kind of shenanigan I would try to pull off. Marina Vendrell. So this is kind of like one of the focal cards, like to the story of the set. But when she enters, reveal the top 7 cards of your library. Put all enchantment cards from among them into your hand, and the rest into the bottom of your library in random order. And you can tap to lock or unlock the door of a target room you control. Activate only as a sorcery. So, a room. The rooms which are new to the deck, new to the set. A great commander for that kind of thing. And the rooms seem like fun. Meat Hood Massacre 2, the sequel. So when it enters, each player sacrifices X creatures, and whenever a creature you control dies, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return the card under your control with a finality counter on it. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they may pay 3 life. If they don't, return that card under your control with a finality counter on it. So that's I actually got 2 of them in this box. Okay. Omnivorous Flytrap, Delirium. And whenever a Omnivorous Flytrap enters or attacks, if there are 4 more card types among them, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. Then if there's 6 or more card types among the types in your battleground, double the number of +1/+1 counters of those creatures. So that one's like a few too many hoops for me. I don't trust having the right number of cards in the graveyard. So I haven't been brave enough to try that sort of thing yet. Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. So impending 4, 2 and 2 red. If you cast a spell for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters on it, and it isn't a creature until the last is removed. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. So whenever the Overlord of the Boiler Bilges enters or attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target. So you get it out, you get some damage, and then you can, after delay, attack with it to get more damage. Overlord of the Mistmoors, impending 4, so similar thing, and whenever it enters or attacks, create 2/1 white insect creature tokens with flying. Flyers can be useful. Razorkin and Needlehead has first strike during your turn, and whenever an opponent draws a card, Razorkin Needlehead deals 1 damage to them. Rip Spawn Hunter. Survival at the beginning of your second main phase. If Rip Spawn Hunter is tapped, reveal the top X cards of your library where X is its power. Put any number of creature and or vehicle cards with different powers from among them into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Silent Hall Creeper. That can't be blocked. When it deals combat damage to a player, you get a modal choice here that hasn't been chosen. So 2 +1/+1 counters on this. Draw a card, or this becomes a copy of another target creature you control. Silent Hall Creeper, the normal version, instead of the borderless. The Swarm Weaver enters, put 2 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens with flying, and it's got a Delirium clause as long as there are 4 more card types in your graveyard. Insects and spiders you control got +1/+1 and have Death Touch. So yeah, this could be an alternate way of, it's like hard getting a good spider deck. So maybe that kind of gives some possibilities. Twitching Doll. So there's a more hideous version of this that was like a, I don't know if it was like a buy a box or some other kind of promo. Add 1 tap, add 1 mana of any color, and put a nest counter on a Twitching Doll. And you can tap and sacrifice it and create a 2/2 green spider creature token with reach for each counter on Twitching Doll. Activate only as a sorcerer. Unstoppable Slasher. Death Touch. Whenever it deals comic damage to a player, they lose half their life rounded up. Ouch. And when Unstoppable Slasher dies, if it had no counters on it, return it to the battlefield, tapped under its owner's control with 2 stun counters on it. Vicious. Okay, so one of the better or best hits in this. Valgavoth Terror Eater. Flying and lifelink. Ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. So that's like an unlikely to be used ward cost. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. And then during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. So for people that are big on black or Rakdos or something like that, this is a major card. Zamone All Questioning. So at the beginning of your end step, if a land entered the battlefield under your control this turn and you control a prime number of lands, create primo, uh, the indivisible, a legendary 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, then put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So there must be clever ways to um, kind of maximize this. So it could be a fun build to try. Okay, now we're into the enchantments. So we have a room, Dollmaker's Shop, and Porcelain Gallery. So you're going to pay, you have to pay the mana cost to unlock, to cast and have it unlocked. So the Dollmaker Shop has got whenever one or more non-toy creatures you control attack a player, create a 1/1 white toy artifact creature token. And then the Porcelain Gallery is creatures you control have base power and toughness, each equal to the number of creatures you control. So this is a go wide strategy sort of thing. Grievous Wound, enchant player, enchanted player can't gain life. Whenever enchanted player is dealt damage, they lose half their life rounded up. Hallowed Haunting, so this is a special guest card. As long as you control 7 or more enchantment creatures, 7 or more enchantments, creatures you control have flying and vigilance. And whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a white spirit cleric creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control. So yes, this as a special guest from an earlier set, it does very much fit into this set because there's a whole bunch of enchantments, and I think we saw the ghost vacuum thing earlier. That's a way of getting a bunch of spirits out. So this could be very synergistic in custom builds for this set. Leyline of the Void. Yeah, so it's a way to screw people that have a graveyard strategy. So it's not super fun. At least not for the people it's being played against. Okay, restricted office at lecture hall. So when you unlock this door, destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. So you got a board wipe on one of the rooms. Lecture hall. Other permanents you control have hexproof. Yeah, so a lot of these rooms are more synergistic with each other. These are two like distinct things to me. So they can be useful at different times. So, but like the hexproof wouldn't protect your own creatures. So, yeah, but it's something that's sitting on the field that you have access to that you don't have to cast it out of your hand. The Tale of Temio, so Saga, 1, 2, and 3, mill 2 cards. That if 2 cards that share a card type were milled this way, draw a card and repeat the process. And then eventually, when you get to 4th stage, exile any number of target instant, sorcery, and or Tameo Planeswalker cards from your graveyard. Copy them. You may cast any number of the copies. So you don't get to cast them for free. You still gotta have mana to do it. But for Tameo fans, it gives you some possibilities. Demonic Council. Search your library for a demon card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Delirium, there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. Instead, search your library for any card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, so if you like playing tutors, split up. Choose one, destroy all tapped creatures, or destroy all untapped creatures. So, conditional wipe. Valgavoth's Onslaught. So, manifest dread X times, then put X +1/+1 counters on each of those creatures. So, manifest dread is like a new thing in the set, and you look at the top 2 cards of your library and then put one onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other into the graveyard, and you can turn it face up anytime for its mana cost if it's a creature card. So um, if you can pay enough into the X, you may get a lot of good stuff out on the board disguised with counters on them, so maybe they'll survive easier. So that's the kind of thing I might try. Okay, now we're to the lands. Flood Farm Verge. So these are ones where they don't come in taps, so that's good. And you get one color, and you can also get a second color, but only if you control the plains or an island. So this is a reasonably good land, because it comes in untapped, and at least you're getting a colored for it, and you can get color fixing as long as you can get some other basics or triomes or duals out that have the plains or island type. So the Hushwood Verge is a similar thing, except it's for green and white. And Thornspire Verge, which is the Gruul version, the red and green. So those are the hits from my second box. There were Mythic Massacres and a Valgavoth, so I think it was pretty good. And so next I'm going to be moving on to all of my collector boxes that I cracked. I got a bunch of those. So anyhow, I hope you're having fun with the set, and if you're cracking your own stuff, good luck on the pulse. Thanks for watching.